Hey guys, video producer here for the podcast. Nick coming at you with a message before here. We had a open broadcasting software failure, apparently like the rarest thing in the entire world, and there's no video for this episode. So feel free to minimize this tab and just listen to our smooth, silky voices as we come to you with now perfect audio. So now we have audio fixed, and now we're just working on video. So thanks guys, enjoy the episode.
Did you start it?
Demonetized
I started.
There's so much going on that we have trouble keeping up with all the different areas of interest.
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Demonetized podcast. Now with fixed audio, hopefully.
Hell yeah.
We figured out what was happening before, and now we should be good to go.
Yeah.
So on this cam, as usual, I'm Nick, and we doing the video, and we got Alex Sipes on the audio side of things. Say hi, Sipes.
Hi.
And then on B cam there, we got Glasses calling Neistat Fleming.
Oops, sorry. Hello.
And replacement for Patrick, replacement for Riker, Patrick, Riker's roommate / the better half of that duo.
Hey,
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
you guys.
Patrick, give us the quick. What makes you cool?
This is my first podcast, and I just wanted everyone to know.
No, it's not. You can find all Patrick's
No, yeah, just a chill guy, just looking for chill vibes, just like to surf, like to roll a doobie on a Saturday night and just chill with my boys, you know.
You like to hike too? Everyone seems to be into hiking.
No, I don't like hiking.
All right, cool.
I fucking hate hiking,
Yeah.
Sipes. Why would you say that?
I feel like hiking is one of those kind of activities that everyone wants to pretend that they enjoy, but then when they're actually put to the task of like, hey, we're going on a hike, we're doing Camelback right now, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
guys, I can't. No,
I think
yeah.
I like hiking to a spot, and like because I like the view, or I like backpacking because like you're going to camp with your friends. But the hiking part is not fun.
Well, it's like when we went and hiked in
For
Flag.
15 minutes.
We hiked in Flag for it was probably for like 45 minutes total.
Yeah.
And we
went
like
a mile.
we
up,
went
a mile
up
down.
and like we're like, this is nice, and talked about life, and then went down and got a burger. It was great, you know, like and yeah.
I was tired.
I feel like some people don't match like the mood to the hike, you know? It's like
Yeah.
everyone's trying to just like hang out and have fun, and they're like, all right, we got 8 miles in. You guys good? And you're like,
Can we stop here? This
up?
is supposed to be fun. No, the hiking.
Oh, I thought you meant the pod.
Yeah,
I thought you were
me too.
making
I was
a
like,
stand.
Yeah, fuck. Okay, sorry. Start over. Can we fucking leave?
So today's podcast, we've
Brought to you by Dollar Shave
brought to you
Club.
by Dollar Shave Club, not brought to you by Dollar Shave Club.
Please don't
God
sue us.
bless.
I don't think they could sue us for like
Promoting them
promoting them.
for free.
We're going to talk about, we've touched on a decent amount, well, kind of bits and pieces, but I figured if we kind of center on the theme of music, I think that'd be a lot of fun because we got Pat. Pat's really into music, trying to work in music, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Since the last podcast, we all lost our jobs.
Yeah.
So, technically our mysterious unofficial jobs that gave us a lot of free time is now gone, and we have a lot of free time. So, might have some things change, might be a little less frequent, but yeah, so we're all good. But Pat is taking this opportunity to move to LA, right?
Yeah, I'm going to LA.
So what's the move with that? You're just doing it? You don't have a job
Self-driving
lined up?
boy to unemployed boy on the beach.
Well, now Patrick is the first one to drop what our industry is on the podcast. So,
Our former industry.
so yeah, so good. But
I didn't know that.
it's okay. No,
Probably should have done some research.
So music, right? I feel like music is something that everyone on this table spends a decent chunk of time in, both kind of hobby and just like lifestyle kind of stuff, right?
For sure, dude. Sure.
And I think it's maybe an interesting discussion to talk about what past like pop music do we find interesting? Because I feel like everyone kind of by default has to be into pop music, at least a little bit. You know, like everyone at least listens to it, has some sort of radio just like on while life is happening.
Are you
But
talking about like modern pop music or like pick an era?
I think like everyone like at some point in your life gets into pop music because like I was definitely like the 7th grader who was like, dude, any music made past 1988 is trash. Anything that isn't Van Halen 2 is bad. Like, you know what I mean?
So when did that happen? Because I feel like you were the opposite of that now. Now you were very like kind of cutting edge of whatever is
Yeah.
happening now. When was that cut off for you?
Yeah, all growing up, it was just like I listened to the Beatles with my parents, like that kind of shit, and like super into 80s and 70s music, like R&B. Like I was into a lot of music,
Right.
just exclusively before 1990. You know,
So now,
like I was into funk and R&B and
so is
everything.
classic rock and everything strictly like parental influence and stuff like that?
My mom is really into funk
Okay.
and like R&B and stuff, and then my dad is very into like 80s rock.
Okay.
And then both
yeah.
of them are
Like
the
hair, are we
Beatles.
talking about like hair metal or
Like
just,
my dad loves Van Halen,
Really?
and like all that shit, like Judas Priest, all
Hell
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know for me growing up, it was a lot of like if my mom was driving, it was like straight Christian music, and then if we were in the car with like just my dad, it was a lot of like Police and Foreigner and Kansas and a lot of like
Yeah,
classic
yeah,
rock
yeah,
kind
I
of
feel
stuff.
that.
Queen, a lot of Queen, and
Yeah,
so
same.
and so I think that was one of those where that I think it's probably a lot of people's kind of intro, right? Is like you're just rolling around and. You know, I ran into a guy like the other day who like was just playing like John Mayer for his kids, you know, and it
That's
was like,
dope.
oh, interesting. Like that is now a
That's a thing.
thing, you know. But it's interesting how those kind of initial childhood kind of influences you're just kind of forced to
Yeah,
listen
and
to
you
it,
stay
so
with
you're
it your
just
whole
like
life,
down
pretty
with
much.
it. Colin, what was your setup
So
like?
nostalgic.
My childhood music was very strange. I think on the same as like with you, as far as my mom was a lot of just like Christian whatever music. My dad, because he was like an English major and that's what his was a lot of like, oh, here's the San Francisco Orchestra and we're gonna listen to 3 hours of that, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Kind of NPR-ish category music, you know?
Sometimes it was a lot of like something that was like really just random, that was like really high production something, but was like very rarely like, oh, here's a popular song. It was like, oh, here's the orchestra of so and so that was made in 2006 and blah, like really random. I don't even remember what any of it was. You'd have to ask him, but
Just really artsy stuff.
very artsy.
And then
stuff.
probably on the other end, Sipes, you probably had kind of an interesting thing, right? Both of your parents seem like kind of out there artistic kind of people.
Yeah, I don't know. They're definitely out there. My dad's like a borderline autistic engineer kind of dude. Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, Dad.
Dad listens
love,
to this.
love you, Dad.
Love you, Dad.
Love you, Dad.
Hey, you know, shout out to the dads. You know, like,
Hell yeah.
oh, shout out to the moms. You know, shout out to the dads.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah,
Happy Father's Day. Colin's a dad.
Shit.
So, were you listening to like Metallica
to
and
make my
stuff, like
card.
as a
Yeah.
child growing up?
Yeah, like
Oh,
Metallica, Judas Priest. A lot of. I actually got in trouble in first grade for teaching my classmates the lyrics to Iron Man by Black Sabbath, which is the most benign of all Black Sabbath songs. Like, it could have
Yeah.
been way worse.
I feel like everyone knew that song. By
They're
then.
like, yeah, but the teacher was like concerned about it, so I was like, okay.
Although interesting how the intro to Iron Man that everyone knows is like the shitty reword that you have is like a elementary school, you know,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
you just
I am
make
the
up-
ice cream man, you know, or
Yeah.
like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what we were
you know what I'm
doing.
talking about? Or it's like everyone's got those like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You can make up lyrics to that song all day long.
I think, Iron Man fighting all the people with my iron hands or something.
Ooh.
People used to say that. Is that it? That's not even.
That doesn't sound like a real lyric.
That's what people used to
I remember
say.
ours was like it was like the ice cream man running over children in his ice cream van, or it was like when he honks his horn, something like that. It was like
Yeah,
bizarre.
those, like stupid kid songs.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I just changed the words to.
That's a pretty good one.
And then I don't know about you guys, but to me it was like probably around when people started driving when I started listening to a whole bunch of like not like what my parents listened to kind of music.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's probably right around 8th grade. I remember the first like true, because you know, thrown in there was like a lot of like Christian alternative kind of stuff, which was a little more crossover. But I remember the first band that I like listened to and got into was like Avenged Sevenfold, which is really
Hell yeah.
kind of interesting as this like white private school khakis and button, kind of shirt kid. Whereas like I listened to a lot of Avenged Sevenfold, and then my second artist I really got into after that was Kid Cudi in like 9th grade.
Damn, that was early.
Yeah.
Is that when Man on the Moon came out?
Man on the Moon, yeah.
That was his first,
and
right?
so yeah, I hung out with a lot of public school kids just to like kind of balance everything out. And one of those kids, and it had this kid, shout out Zach Weld. Zach Weld was deep into the Dat Piff like mixtape drop thing. Mm-hmm. So he was one of those kids that would only listen to like super thug rap, or I guess before Kid Cudi was like Tech Nine. So it was like Avenged Sevenfold and like Tech Nine and stuff. And he was one of those who it's like all Tech Nine and like all these like hardcore Dat Piff mixtapes, and then Muse was like all he would listen to.
Spread.
It was but it wasn't anything in between.
Right. Oh,
It's literally
It
just
was
one or the
like
other.
it would be like a bunch of Tech Nine, like all of it, like bangers, we know it, or like it was the guy that like actually like C Murder, like the guy that actually killed people and stuff.
oh, what?
But then you'd pull up and then he's playing like it's like what, Supersonic Black Hole or whatever.
Supermassive.
Sorry, Supermassive Black Hole, and you're like, oh, okay, one of those days, Zach. All right, nice.
I in high school I ended up getting like really in middle school it was like we went through a huge Green Day phase. Like me and my band members just played nothing but Green Day covers.
Yeah.
But then that got us like for whatever reason we got into like Metallica, and then I remember I got into All That Remains.
Can I say something with the Green Day?
Okay.
21 Gun Solo is the Full House theme song.
Wait, what?
The 21 Gun Solo goes.
Yeah, yes.
Oh god.
I remember seeing that.
Everywhere you
I remember seeing that
look,
thread on Reddit, and everyone's like, "Oh no."
I didn't use Reddit when I figured that out. I was just like, this is Full House.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, keep going.
No, that's pretty funny though. It was like American Idiot. I remember liking American Idiot, but like definitely seeing the musical limitations of the songwriting. Like it was power chords. Like, we would play it and go like, okay, we want something more. And then I think
that whole genre.
yeah, and then it was my mom was like, why don't you guys play some Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and like get girlfriends? And that's what we did. 2 of those things.
Get some big titty emo GF. Goth GFs.
Just hang out at Applebee's a lot.
Yeah, but then that's like Metallica kind of led me into like heavier things. So then I started getting to like screamy metal. But to me, that was like
Enter
All That
Sandman is like
Remains
such a
and-
meme for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was all into Kill 'Em All and like Load and Reload, and Ride the Lightning was pretty good too. But that was like our and
Future
then
Wolfgang killed them all.
yeah. What?
Nice.
It's a rap group.
I found it. I thought it was really cool at a certain point when I like started having a massive backlog of music to go through.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, like the list.
I didn't start listening to like kind of cringy like 2005 like
To way late.
like Taking Back Sunday and stuff like
Yeah.
that till like late high school. And then it's kind of like
I would
this
never have
weird
gotten to
bit. And like Kanye was the same thing for me. Like I didn't listen to Kanye like as it came out, because I was like freaking young, But then it was like, oh, I have so much content to burn through.
And you
like
knew
I,
so much of the song, so many of the songs because they were hits.
Yes.
So you like heard them on the radio. You heard
Yes.
them at school dances and shit.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm the same way.
yeah. And so it's interesting still, even finding some of those people that now that I'm probably like deeper into music than general people, right?
Yeah.
Now you hear people like referencing stuff, and I'm like, I know nothing about them. Like I have a like complete gap in my
Yeah.
knowledge of that. And you're like, oh, 5 albums? All right.
Let's
like,
do my deep dive.
here we go. Like,
I just
no.
did that with Nina Simone.
Okay.
Did like a full deep dive, and she has like endless albums,
Yeah.
And she, oh my god,
did
Kanye
with,
samples Nina Simone all the time.
Fucking Frank Zappa. Found out about Frank Zappa, and it was like my dad got me really into Jethro Tull. That was my first concert. So like I've been listening to Jethro Tull for like 20 years, and then it was Frank Zappa, and I was like, I got how many albums to get through? Like 25? F that.
I think I just know Valley Girl. My dad used to play Valley Girl,
Valley Girl. I liked
and I know his
Bobby Brown.
and his kids are named Dweezil and Moon
In
Unit.
Moon Unit.
I've seen Dweezil play twice.
That's pretty funny.
It seems like
They're
those,
good.
it seems like those people just put out way more albums than anyone now will.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if
Yeah.
that was just
I
a
think-
stretch of time kind of thing.
They were-
where
people were
like,
so
oh,
prolific.
they put out 20 albums, but you like look and it was like 35 years.
Yeah,
you know,
they
like
just stayed together for so long and shit.
because like how many
People work on projects for a lot longer now, I think.
how many albums is John Mayer at? 9?
With EPs and albums, or just studio albums, full length studio albums?
I would count the EPs too. That's like a good amount of work.
We going in?
Yeah,
Okay, we
let's
got
hear it.
Inside Wants Out, Room for Squares, Heavier Things.
Battles?
No.
We made 3.
Heavier Things, and then it's Continuum, Village Sessions, Battle Studies, Born and Raised, 2012 Performance Series, Paradise Valley, Search for Everything.
And you missed Where the Light Is.
Where the Light Is a live album. If you do live albums, he has like 40 as is live albums. So
But-
I don't think we can count those.
But is that one?
and then he also did. Fuck, I sound like a big John Mayer stan. I'm also wearing a John Mayer.
Yeah, you are.
You sound like a fan. This is
I sound like a fan. He
past
also
the
had
point of
John
no
Mayer
return.
Trio with Steve Jordan
Yeah,
and Pino
yeah,
Palladino,
yeah.
and they have an album. Yeah, Pino Palladino's the bassist for The Who, and Steve Jordan's a drummer
Yeah.
for the SNL band and for a lot of other shit.
It's like he's
the
got.
dude.
He's got a lot, but it's been almost 20 years of John Mayer.
Yeah, I think his first drop was like 2001, 2002.
Room for Square.
Him and Kanye, their careers really mirror each other like
Yeah.
a lot in a lot of ways.
Dude, how old is John Mayer?
40.
40. He just
Him and
turned
Kanye
40.
are both 40.
So he started young,
Like 20.
but started putting albums
22.
out. Like
Well, he went to Berkeley College. Fuck. Yeah, I don't want to talk about. He went to Berkeley College of Music, and then he dropped out, and I think he moved to Atlanta. And he played South by Southwest too, and that's when he got big and he released.
Okay.
But I mean, he talks about that as a lot of his kind of like douchey era, and like talks about his like kind of ego addiction and stuff like that. It's like
he doesn't
if
like
you,
him, yeah.
it's like, but it's like if you gave any, he even talks about like his early stuff. Though, like if you gave any 22-year-old like that level of success and platform and girls and like all that, and like you took kind of quiet guy that just like played guitar in his room in high school and like wouldn't perform in front of other people, like now he's like kind of superstar level. Like he says, like you think about it, you're like, who wouldn't fall apart during
It's the
that?
Justin
you know?
Bieber thing.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a full just
If
kid,
any like
child,
youth pop star.
complete
Justin Timberlake
culture
did pretty
shock.
well with like not being a.
He was
complete
also
fuck
like
up.
conditioned systematically over.
I don't know, but
his
so was
whole-
Miley Cyrus, and she had her weird breakdown thing. Amanda Bynes became like schizophrenic.
but
Yeah, I don't.
but
Think that was
they
a result
always,
of-
but all
Yeah,
of
maybe
those people always had a spot in pop culture aside from their music.
I guess, yeah.
Where like I was watching the Beats Radio 1 interview with John Mayer and Zayn.
Oh, yeah,
and
so good.
And John Mayer talks about how he never really was claimed by anyone, like claimed by any genre or group or anything like that. And so like he couldn't perform at like he wouldn't perform at Coachella, like he wouldn't get invited to that. But they're like, not because you're bad, you just like
That's not your
don't
Oh, he
fit
didn't.
here.
He didn't fit in the box.
He didn't
that
fit in any kind of box.
people-
'Cause
yeah.
he was like a
Which is
singer-songwriter.
good, but also like to a detriment at some point, which is what you're describing, like not being invited to play certain things.
Yeah,
right?
his level of fame didn't match the type of music he made. Like he was a blues guitarist, singer songwriter, but the level of fame as like a
Like
not Justin Bieber, but like someone that high. You know what I mean? He was
Yeah.
huge in like his like Continuum days.
But like but up until recently, when maybe his Instagram kind of presence and stuff became a lot bigger thing, he wasn't really like, I wouldn't consider John Mayer like a pop culture.
Well, he was in like 2006.
But me and you were nerdy about it.
no, he was huge, man. Think
I
about
don't
like
think he was that big.
think of Waiting on the World to Change. That was everyone's freaking ringtone.
Yeah, no, but that was just as his music came out. If he had taken a break and just coasted, it wasn't like he's still showing up at
I
stuff.
think like Snapchat didn't exist, so we were young and we didn't watch E! News. But no, he was dating Jennifer Aniston.
that's true,
He was
the
dating all
exposure
those
part,
people.
I guess.
He
The
dated
exposure
Jennifer Love
part, like-
Hewitt before he even got like really big.
That's right.
He dated
Yeah.
Taylor Swift,
Right.
kind of. So no, he was huge, and then that was his thing, and he left and moved to Wyoming or Montana,
Montana. Yeah,
and then
Paradise Valley.
and now he's like I want to be back in pop. Like he left and did his folk thing for a while.
Yeah.
He did his Neil Young thing.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's an interesting one.
He's crazy.
He's an interesting one. How many people I run into that don't really listen to his music at all? Because I don't know, maybe it's just such like a staple part of my like library.
Yeah.
But like I run into a lot of people like our age and stuff who are just like, oh, John Mayer, like he's kind of an asshole, isn't he? And you're like, well, he was. And they're like, or like I had some people like, who do you think's like the greatest modern guitar player? I was like, John Mayer, no doubt. And they're like, really? What? And I was like, no, yeah, he's like super good. And they're like,
and like every
Really?
guitarist agrees.
They're like waiting on the world, like, but that's like kind of what
I don't know
I'm
about
like.
like best modern guitar player, but he's among
I mean,
the
Eric
best.
Clapton.
Eric Clapton.
said he's like the best.
Well, I mean, like Gary
seen that
Clark
video?
Jr. and like people that kind of.
he destroyed Gary Clark Jr. in the guitar battle.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, man, that video's hilarious.
Dude, and
Oh,
you
they actually did a
Trashed
guitar
him.
battle?
Yeah, Gary
Oh.
Clark Jr. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you look at some of the breakdowns of like skilled guitarists trying to like learn how
Gary Clark Jr. 's
how
dope.
neon works and stuff, like the intro to like neon, and they're like, wait,
It's fucking hard.
they're like, how? What's he doing there? You know, and like some of that stuff.
Yeah, some of his finger picking stuff's crazy. I don't, he's not like the best guitarist of all time anyway, right?
He's
but
very,
like,
very, very good, and he understands that instrument
I
very
think
well.
I'd put him in top 20.
I would too.
But dude, Eric,
He's
like
crazy.
the Eric Clapton thing, like that's what I show people, and they're like, "No, I don't believe." You. And Eric Clapton's like, he's on a fucking different level. Like, what's this dude's
Yeah.
deal? Like, what?
And the fact that he's like won over Deadheads now, who like Jerry Garcia was basically a god to them. Like, no, actually not even basically. They thought he was the Messiah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
essentially.
my dad was one of those among those that like worshipped him as a
As a
like
god,
higher
as like
god. Yeah,
Jesus' return. Like,
yeah, because he followed like people. That was the thing with Deadheads is that like a lot of them did follow from concert to concert. They like toured.
crazy, yeah. And
Behind
that
the
like
band.
70-year-old Deadheads are like, no, yeah, this John Mayer guy is really respectful of Jerry, and like he's a really good guitarist. And you're like, damn.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone
You
else
saw
could.
them, didn't you? You saw
No,
Den Company.
I had to go to a wedding. I really wanted
hate
to.
that.
This shirt, the guy who makes this shirt also makes Dead and Company shirts.
Was that one that hoodie that Riker
Dean's
has, right?
Nuts.
Dean's Nuts.
Jeremy Dean. Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you
Dean's
by
Nuts.
Dean's Nuts.
Dean's Nuts.
that's pretty good. It's a pretty good name.
It's a pretty good name. Wait, I never got to do my music walk, my music journey.
What's your music journey?
Okay, it was very similar to yours. As it, in like not in genre, but in like it started with me playing in bands. So like I was like,
Oh yeah, there's that whole side of you. Why aren't we talking about that?
I mean, you more than me, honestly.
Well, no,
but like
you-
I was
you
in like a
talk about you.
gigging band in like 6th grade, so like that was like we would completely do oldies, and then so I was like in different bands, and then that was like I pretty much only hated all new music till like freshman year of high school, maybe.
What was your instrument? I know, but-
Usually like guitar, rhythm guitar, piano, or singing.
okay. Or, like, some
I was usually the
combination.
lead singer. I'm not that good though.
No.
And then do you stare straight in the camera? I think that's like the move, right?
Up to you.
Do
You
it.
stare, and then like I think I started getting into like indie folk and like indie rock in like high school, so that kind of developed. I didn't even get into hip hop till freshman year of college.
Also, a moderator of r/Fleet Foxes.
I am one of the moderators of our Fleet Foxes.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first. I'd say that was my first album that it wasn't like my parents' album that they like put on me or like a friend showed it to me. It was like I listened to that album myself and I like did the full thing and it was like super emotional. It's been my favorite album since Helplessness Blues. Yeah, it was. I pirated it, or I didn't pirate it.
Allegedly.
Actually, my
Allegedly pirated it.
my social studies teacher pirated it and gave me it to me. So yeah, that was pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, it was like the first album that I fell in love with. And then Camp by Childish Gambino, which I don't even like that much, but that was my intro into hip hop. Like I think because the internet's way better, but Camp was the one that got me into it.
He's had an interesting run too, hasn't he?
Childish Gambino's crazy because he's like Donald Glover's like the height of pop culture right now. Like it's pretty crazy how many people are into
He's like
him.
the pinnacle of
Yeah.
like triple, quadruple threat kind of deal.
Yeah, but Camp on Pitchfork, like when his first like studio rap album came out, I think he got like a 3.2.
Really?
It did horrible.
And they
Everyone
didn't know.
hated him.
And they didn't know what to do with it because he was like full community swing at that point.
Yeah.
So I think people maybe thought it was almost like a Lonely Island kind of thing.
Yeah, they like made
Where
fun
it
of
was
him.
like all these like SNL guys are like making music. Like, is this like a parody kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, and so I think they kind of saw Donald Glover doing that. Is like he's like doing his thing. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And
Especially the pseudonym
called him,
doesn't
like-
help.
yeah, because he got it off the Wu-Tang name generator.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
pretty
it's
like,
like-
cringy.
Yeah, but it's like
But it worked
something
out.
like that. Because I remember learning about Childish Gambino, but not really having listened to his music yet, thinking that maybe we should do
God
that.
damn it, Sipes.
No, we're in the swing of it. We're in the swing of it. It'll be fine. It'll just be a little bit of.
we don't want to turn the air conditioning off. So if you hear a little bit of air conditioning in the background, we'll try to get it out.
Just turn yours on too, so you can feel what we're feeling.
Fucking amateur hour.
Deal with it.
Yeah,
Colin.
is it good or not, Sipes?
It's
Colin?
good.
Don't embarrass me in
It's
front of my
good. There's
friends,
way
Colin.
more of
Do not
us.
embarrass me in front of my friends. Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, Camp did terrible, and everyone called him like essentially a white rapper. He was like him and Tyler the Creator were the two that was like too white for the black kids, too black for the white kids.
I think it's just
They
weird
talked
rap.
about that a lot. No, but that's what they said.
And almost
That was
some
the thing.
kind of like culture vulture kind of things.
Yeah, it was
from, like
weird.
internal.
They were like, you're like
You're like you're the Hollywood
you're a
black.
fake rapper.
Like
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and you're like
it was weird. But then he like came up because of the internet, and like people still didn't really like him. But it also got nominated for best rap album at the Grammys.
Camp
And-
did?
No, because of the internet.
Because I think by the time because the internet came out, I think Community was done, or like it had just
He had left.
He
Yeah.
had left.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that was the first two where people were
think.
like, "Oh,
It was
like,
right around then.
Huh? Now he's not
But his producer
Troy
is
on-
the dude who wrote all the music for Community.
Right.
Is Ludwig. I don't remember his last name.
interesting."
There
And he like plays guitar whenever he
There
does
are
live
still
stuff.
references to Community in Because of the Internet, but I don't think he was on the show anymore.
I don't think he was on the show anymore. I think
Because
he
I think it
left.
went another like 3.
I think maybe he was like working on it while he was on the show, but then he left
that would make
because
yeah,
he left
that makes
like
sense.
four episodes into season 5.
Yeah. I think that's right.
And then after because the internet was Awaken My Love, right?
Yeah, like that was fall 2016.
Which is a
And people hate
completely
fucking-
So
different
it's
album.
essentially just like
Blindsided.
it's essentially Maggot Brain by Funkadelic, and he just like, this is my favorite album. I'm gonna like make a complete homage to this.
I was not expecting
Interesting.
that.
Like Redbone is I'd Rather Be With You by Bootsy Collins. Like
Right.
it's to the
I saw
T.
that-
The
I
beat
saw
is,
that
like, the same
comparison.
thing. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
But he doesn't like hide it. It's just like he loved
remember
that
that-
album.
I
It was on.
remember, like-
You know What's in My Bag? Amoeba Music. That like
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
series. He picked Maggot Brain in that.
Oh,
so like,
okay.
he's always said like this is my favorite album. or
Okay.
one of.
Yeah, because like that, I don't know that album was completely like blindsided everyone, but I remember every song in there sounding familiar to some capacity. So that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it was just
like,
so 70s funk.
you're like, hold on, yeah. Well, if we're
The
talking about
early
70s funk,
early 70s funk.
And I saw another round of
Because it wasn't like post funk like Bloodstone.
I saw another round of is this Troy from Community? You know?
Really?
Yeah, like it
but
was
Atlanta was
almost-
already out, and that's when he like shot stardom. When they're like, "Oh shit, this
Right.
show is amazing."
But like when people like at GCU, people like played Redbone like around, but it was it was like, wait, this is Troy from Community, and I'm like, yeah, he's been doing this for a bit now, like,
yeah,
huh, you know?
yeah. People are still like, there's like that meme going on. Oh wait, let me. So it's Atlanta, and now the Lando thing, and now he's huge. And Redbone was in Get Out, and that's how Redbone became like a super popular.
But then
single.
he's kind of doing his own Shia LaBeouf kind of thing, where he like makes content and like is in things, but is then kind of a bizarre character outside of that.
kind of like is like a little
Like even his like SNL
just backs away a
performances and
little bit.
stuff are very kind of like cold
I feel like
and shallow,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I feel like right now he's kind of in the like.
Although the summer,
he's building
the
up
news,
for solo, and then he'll go back and do his Frank Ocean little. I'm not going to talk to anyone, be a person for a while. But like he's never said, I don't think what his son's name is, or who his girlfriend is.
oh really?
I don't think
Yeah.
he's ever said it in public,
You can find that out if you watch it later.
He just does a lot of stuff and isn't super
Really?
public about his private life,
which is
He's
cool.
like, Yeah, yeah.
I think we're getting a little too close to our celebrities. Like we know too much about them, so then like knowing so much about them affects the art.
Oh, and one of the podcasts that I listen to a lot, the guys were talking about like people in the street coming up, and now there's these people who have listened to 4 years of their podcast. So people feel like they know, and they do know a certain chunk about these people, but it is not reciprocated at all.
About their
you know?
lives, yeah.
And so I think it's one of those like you now have strangers with a certain set of like relatively intimate details, depending on how long they've been listening and if they've like pieced stuff together, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think that, and you combine that with like social media and stuff like that, you probably end up with this kind of bizarro world where like
A little bit.
everyone knows a lot about you, but you don't know anything about anyone who's trying to like come up to you, you know?
Yeah, which is why the Frank Ocean backaway was such like a good move. Like he did like Channel Orange, did his tour, and then like moved to, I think, London and then Tokyo for like 4 years.
Dude, all the
crazy.
70s and 80s rock gods like completely went into hiding and like only come out when they're touring. You know what I mean?
Because social media didn't exist yet.
Yeah,
like,
but
you
they can like
couldn't.
but they can like afford to do it. Like they
Yeah, I know what you mean.
because it was all about just the only publicity was like related to the band or whatever.
Which
And
I
it
think there's
wasn't
so
them.
much shit coming out right now that people are afraid that they're gonna fall off.
Well, I feel like a lot of
if you're
people
mu-
like.
Sorry, you go.
I was gonna say I feel like a lot of content creators feel like they have to also have that part, like the YouTube people, like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
also
yeah.
have to participate in and not just make their music, and then that's the public facing part of them. Like it has to be.
Well,
It has to be a
than that.
constant.
I mean, that's part of the-
they always have to be on your mind, or they're gonna fall off, and you'll find someone new.
And that's
Right.
part of that YouTube, quantity over quality kind of thing, where it's
Daily
like it
vlogging.
rewards cranking out unproduced kind of shitty content.
Which sucks.
Because if you're some of those like Smarter Every Day or some of those more like kind of monthly channels,
Yeah.
like sometimes that stuff doesn't even like show up for people. And now that like YouTube's like messing with the subscription boxes and stuff, no one knows like how
Yeah.
anything's actually working.
Which is why Frank Ocean's thing was so cool, because his music's so like he released like he had a mixtape, but he released one studio album, and then like it was so good that people waited 4 years for another one. Like no one waits 4 years between their
Right.
freshman and sophomore album.
Well, I
no
was
one
like-
does that.
So
That's like career suicide.
yeah, that's like it's enough time for you to completely fall off the map. Or
Exactly.
Like, just
Yeah.
become
For anyone
completely-
else, pretty much.
Yeah, or be completely uninterested in what, because after 4 years musically you evolve a little bit. Like that happened with Kimbra. Like everyone hated her second album, but it's still great. It's different.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
people
yeah,
have a
for
harder
sure.
time like accepting that difference.
Yeah,
But when I
your
was
art is changing for sure.
yeah, but when I was at the NAMM show in 2014, there was a songwriter panel, and I don't, these are all like, it was the girl who writes like a lot of Rihanna's stuff was there, and like one of Simon Cowell's like inner circle people were there, and it was
You're not going to Vegas.
yeah, it was. No, it's a no from me.
It's a no.
I think with
Howie's over
Hollywood.
there throwing a shit fit.
What?
Does he say Vegas in the other one? Which one does he say? I thought it was Hollywood.
I remember one of the American Idols. It was like
Vegas?
round 2 was Vegas.
I thought
Dang.
Vegas was.
I don't know if this
Isn't
is
that,
right.
isn't that not
ultimate,
it?
What?
Isn't that like the
I thought
penultimate
Vegas
goal?
was where they were going in American Idol.
I
thought it was
might be
Hollywood.
thinking America's Got Title or America's Got Talent.
America's
It was
got
one of
America's
those
got title.
America's
Everyone,
Got
you have to
Title.
show the title to your car. They pull you over.
Oh, I was gonna go with
Craigslist.
Title. Everyone has FLAC files now. Like
Everyone got title. You have to
turn
delete
in
Apple
your
Music.
MP3s.
and
Turn them in. Where are your FLAC
You have to
files?
sign a contract to Jay-Z.
Yeah, you sell Jay Z
I
your
was
soul.
thinking like different fonts. Like you're like, here's the font that I made. This is my. You're going to Title.
You know what another cool one was? This isn't music, but pop culture.
Mm.
Aziz Ansari came out with Master of None, and like everyone loves that show. What? Okay, but it's really renowned. I don't know if everyone likes it. The first 3
I haven't
episodes
watched
aren't very good, and then it's really good. Anyway, he came out with 2 seasons, and then he was like, "I have nothing else to say right now. I want to go live my life for a little bit." And like, doing that is so cool to me. That you're just like, I'm not going to just like churn out stuff to make money. I want it
Yeah.
to be good.
Well,
I
that's
want
what-
to be proud of it, whether you like it or not. I want to be proud of it.
I
Like
find.
what they were saying. Oh,
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say at that songwriter panel, they basically were just like, "Don't put albums out anymore. Put out singles," and everyone was
Fuck
like,
that.
"What? No. Why?"
Because it
People-
makes money.
It for a very short period of time, like
Yeah.
over time.
But think about most people, like, they do not listen to albums anymore.
Well, right.
Vinyl's gone.
But it-
CDs are gone. We just listen to singles now.
I think it's
I
really.
don't,
I think
but
it's really.
most people.
I think it's really genre based because I think if you look at a lot of the. One of the kind of phases or whatever I went through was listening to a lot of like progressive house music and stuff like that, or like when dubstep was like a thing, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I feel like that genre lends itself really well to the singles kind of thing, because like a Dead Mouse album is not really a cohesive thing aside from the fact that it's all Dead Mouse.
It's just stuff
You know?
that he's made and it
Well,
goes
it can,
into
it
this.
can be cohesive, but it's not necessarily, like,
It-
emotional.
It's not thematic, right?
Right. It doesn't have like an overarching motif.
yeah, in the sense that there's no lyrics. So you can't get, like...
Well,
but
no,
even-
but,
but a lot of the songs
even
flow.
sound wise, a lot of it's not very thematic. A lot of
think-
it's very like kind of almost in the best possible way, kind of mental vomit.
Have you
of,
heard
like,
Dead Mouse's new stuff? Because it is not what it used to be.
No,
Like,
no,
it's
I
very-
listened to a lot
Right.
of the new stuff.
And I think that flows really well.
Like the
No,
2015 album. or
it
whatever?
flows well, but not in a way where like part of what gives Helplessness Blues or like what's the new one?
Crack Up?
Crack Up. Part of what gives that character, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
is that the songs thematically kind of one to the next all work together well. Where if they were released, if Montezuma came out as a single, you'd be missing some of the context of it.
Totally.
Where like a lot of those, even on the new stuff, even a lot of the Deadmau5 songs, it can hold up as a single and also work in the album. But if he needs to space it out where he's like, well, instead of releasing an album at the beginning or middle or end of a year, if I have 12 songs that were going to be on an album and I just release one a month as singles, he's going to get more like airplay and kind of pop culture time.
For sure. And
Like
I think
that.
that comes into like the distinction between a concept album and just an album. Like, it doesn't mean it's bad if it's not a concept.
Right.
Like, it could just be like Beer Bongs and Bentleys. I don't love that album. I'm not going to say it's like the best album ever, but like, he's killing it. He's got a crazy amount of singles and stuff. And it's definitely not a concept album. It's just a bunch of like tracks that he made. And like, that doesn't make it a bad album. It's just like, I think concept albums tend to hold up better.
Is it a concept album in that is his concept? And he made an
concept album
album
is
that
like-
followed it?
Concept album, like the first, it's not the first concept album, but like Rubber Soul by the Beatles. That's a concept album because everything just flows. Everything has like meaning, pet sounds,
Everything,
Sgt.
like
Peppers.
everything is part of one whole versus
Yeah,
just
and you're
being
saying
a
one
collection
thing.
of
The,
songs.
It's a story.
the concept
Yeah, yeah.
album is someone has a themed room in their house that you're walking into, where like everything
The aesthetic is all the
matches
same, and a
up.
lot of times it's
Yeah,
the
that's
same
a good-
story.
It's
I
like
think
if
that's a good
someone has
analogy.
the jungle room, and it's like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a tree bunk bed and like leaves. You're like, oh, I get the theme of this.
Everything
like,
Jesus
is
versus
meant
the
to
college
serve a greater
dropout.
purpose.
Exactly. Yeah. but that's what but I think that's where it's just getting weird with music is like I don't think people are putting out that well, there's some good concept albums coming out, but
I think
They're
more
not-
are coming out now.
I don't think they're getting radio play.
I think singles are the only thing that's ever gotten radio play.
Well, at least
Yeah.
So I guess going back to
it doesn't matter.
Deadmau5, at least he maintains a certain sound signature, like sonically. Like listen to any Taylor Swift album, like their sounds are all over the place. Like it's not one consistent guitar sound or drum sound or anything like that. Whereas like at least with Deadmau5, even not being a concept album, he likes to use Eurorack modular synthesizers, and
Yeah.
you hear that in just about every song he puts
But
out.
even how he's used them has changed a lot too.
Well, and it varies even within a song. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like I like Taylor Swift. Like I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. She's a snake. But since Jack
Speaking for
Danoff has started doing her production, like her production's gotten like it's super clean.
Well, 'cause that guy
It's
really-
he knows what he's doing.
Well, he has a lot of energy too.
He's a lot of energy, and he's been like he was touring with Steel Train when I was in middle school, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So like he knows what he's fucking doing, and he was in Fun, and he was like
And Bleachers.
at Bleachers.
Also-
I
yeah,
saw
Get
them the
Better.
other day.
Also, I feel like
Really? Was
to
it
a
good?
degree Taylor Swift
Like, he's
gets
very
too much
talented.
crap for like the genre change because this is something that I've noticed with like a lot of like kind of the third album reviews from like Anthony Fantano is he doesn't let people change in a lot of his reviews.
Oh
You know?
no, he doesn't. He's
We're
totally
like-
resistant to it.
Where like Taylor Swift and stuff like that, it's like she can make different sounding music and that's okay. My problem with Taylor Swift is like completely
Yeah, I just
different
don't
than
think she
that, you know? Yeah. But it's like too many people it's like, oh, Taylor Swift have to go back to making country. It's like, no, let people grow up. Like let people
Yeah.
get into something different. That's where like I think you even saw some of that when like Redbone or when Awaken My Love came
yeah,
out.
everyone hated
There's
it
people
when it
like,
first came
what? I like Bonfire. Why isn't this Bonfire 2? I can't turn up to this. What is this? And you're like, you gotta let people be different. You don't have to like it, but you gotta let people like develop and
Yeah.
grow, you know?
It was
it's
funny
gonna be
because
like
like
a-
when Awaken My Love came out, I had been listening to so much like Marvin Gaye, Bloodstone, and Funkadelic.
And you're like,
And it was just like, this is what I
"Hell
fucking
yeah.
needed right
All
now.
right, yeah.
And like Kawhi was like more of the R&B thing, so like that was dope. And Colin hated Awaken My Love when it
hated
came
it
out.
when it came out.
He
I
hated
now
it.
it's like one of my favorite albums. I think it's a really good album. But when it came out, because I remember
People were shitting on me
we
so
were
much at
just
work.
about to go to San Francisco.
we were
or
in San
whatever.
Francisco.
When it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And I was listening to the album. I basically skipped through every song of that album. I was like, he didn't rap one time in this whole. I'm like, what the hell is this? This isn't Childish Gambino. What the hell is going on? And so we were walking around work, and I would just play bits of songs for people. I'd be like, does this suck or is this good? And everyone's like, it sucks. And I was like, Patrick thinks it's really good.
He didn't talk about honoring the flag once.
I
in
listened
any
to
of his
I listened to that
songs.
album 4 times the first day it came out.
No, to be fair, I think there are a lot of I think a lot of albums and stuff can be qualified as not really having a place that fits into your life that well.
Yeah,
Like,
like
I've
you're
found-
not ready for it yet. Like, I'm still not ready for Radiohead.
No, but like it does.
Wait, what?
Not
I
even
don't get
like.
it. Like, I know it's good, and I like it, but it's not like it doesn't emotionally connect with me yet.
Oh,
It just hasn't happened for me yet. It hasn't clicked.
But even some of those,
I'm ready for it.
Even
It
some
just-
of those, like if
I want it to
if
happen.
Google Calendar had a what music goes with this calendar appointment, there's some albums that don't fit into any of mine.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you don't connect with it.
Or it's like, well, it's not that I don't connect with it; it just doesn't fit anywhere.
What does that mean?
Like I don't know when, aside from sitting with a pair of headphones, I would listen to "Awaken My Love." I wouldn't listen to it in a car. I wouldn't listen to it hanging
Great.
out
At
with
night in a
people.
car. At night in a car, it's great.
Yeah, I like
But
that.
I have music that I would put, like I would listen to instead of that.
I get
Yeah, I
that,
guess.
but I also like I try to be deliberate about like sitting down and then just listening to music.
But that's how I listened to it.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was
yeah.
fine for that. But I think a lot of people, if they hear something, if they hear an album that they don't like, I think that can be the misconstrued nature of it, where it just like doesn't fit into
But they
stuff,
just
you
can't
know?
identify the context.
Or like they don't have one for it. You know, like it doesn't fit anywhere. It's
Right.
like I've like listened to some like rap albums and stuff with my dad, and he's like, "Oh, this is interesting." He's like, "It doesn't fit into anything that I do." You know, like I don't know when I would listen to this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I
Yeah.
like when music fits the mood. Like, I love listening to Yeezus if I work out. I love, like, if I'm driving through the country, I like listening to, like, folk music. You know, like,
Right.
70s, like, America is great when you're driving to California. But, I don't know.
Awaken
think-
My Love is the best hot tub music. I think it's really good. album to
Slide
listen.
on repeat.
Slide on repeat is really good too.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you mean. I think Awaken My Love fits into a lot of stuff I do, I think. Like, my favorite night driving album is Blonde. Blonde is crazy. Love that album.
Dude, I don't think I have a favorite night driving album.
Really? I have a night driving playlist.
I have okay, I have playlists like that too, but I don't know, the mood always like me going out and just going on a drive is catalyzed by like different events, so it's more reflective of like what I'm trying to think about or like process while I'm driving rather than just driving music, you know what I
Mine's
mean?
always zoning out to music.
Really?
Like one time, my parents now live in North Phoenix, and I
Okay.
was like going to head home on the 17,
Yeah.
and instead I turned the opposite way and just started driving to Flagstaff at like 9 at night, just so I could listen to the entirety of Crack Up.
Oh,
And
that's
then
a
I
good
turned
idea,
around
though.
and came back.
That's a good idea.
And then if I don't want to waste gas, I drive in GTA and listen to music for the same like.
what?
I do that all the time. I'm just like
GTA is a
driving in
great, like,
GTA.
zone
You
out.
zone out,
Yeah.
drive GTA.
That's a thing.
Don't smoke ganja. And then I listen to music.
I don't do that every night either.
Yeah, fuck that. Does anyone want another beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bud Lights all around.
No. Have a
Will
vice.
you,
I'll
will
take
you
whatever.
pour the rest of whatever is sitting in that Mississippi mudslide in there?
Dude, hold on. I'm gonna get my thing.
Whoa! Everybody's leaving. Hey, Nick.
what's up? What's up, Colin?
We gotta entertain. We gotta.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my thing.
So,
Are you moving across the country?
I don't know. Probably not.
Are you gonna do it?
I don't know. We'll see. If I can get a job in Arizona that pays me a lot of money, then I
Yeah.
won't. Otherwise, I probably will. That was all that was left in there. Okay.
Well, selfishly,
Can
I'd
you
like
get me
to.
a Bud Light?
Selfishly, I'd like to keep you around. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should all stay in Arizona so we can keep the podcast going. I don't think that'll work, but
I mean, even with a couple of people, a remote podcast isn't a crazy hard thing.
yeah,
Hey,
true.
do you guys want to grab me one of those tan cans with the thing on it? I don't know what kind of beer it is, but no, I don't want a Bud Light. I'm sorry. No, the other can sitting in the back there. Sure. Sorry, everyone. We're doing a beer run here.
beer?
Oh,
These are meals in a bottle, my friend.
meals in a bottle.
They're very thick.
Oh, let's try some. Interesting.
So, okay.
Will you pour me a little bit of one of those?
Yes.
What is this?
This is. I'll get behind the mic. This is.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God, Sipes, what have you done?
That head retention.
I'll try whatever you're handing out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. let's
Sipes,
do
you
it.
should become a bartender.
Okay, so you got. I got you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Oh, that's a pop filter.
Whoa.
Everything's falling apart. Sorry, we're all getting beer.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Oh.
Also, that pizza's still up for grabs. Just a reminder.
I
Need
love
a little
pizza.
snack. All right, so I guess we're incorporating our normal alcohol segment that we have on the podcast. Sipes, will you display your wares, please?
That bubble is perfect.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. So this is Erdinger. This is a wheat beer. It's German.
Erdinger. I hardly know her.
Erdinger.
Oh.
Fucking hilarious.
When
Get it.
my parents generally go to Germany every 1 to 2 years for Oktoberfest, but this is like anytime he was in the military and they go to Germany, or every time they go back, they bring like a case or two of this back. It's just a really good Bavarian wheat beer. And then this is
Bubble's gone. It's over. It's ruined.
yeah, this is it's from the same region, but it's a nut brown ale, so it's darker and both are pretty filling.
Which one did you pour for me, Sipes?
Could I
The
review one?
Erdinger.
Can I review one too?
What? No.
I got Bud Light. It's a local beer. Local to my heart.
Local to America.
It tastes like Bud Light, and it's pretty good. It gets you litty. It's pretty good.
It does not get you litty.
It gets you because it doesn't fill you, so you can have 12. You feel pretty good
Do
afterwards.
you remember in Boston, did we get Paps and drink like the whole 12-pack just like real fast?
I don't know.
Man,
it
Pat,
was-
you should have been on episode 4. We drank like a bunch of novelty beers.
I don't know anything about beer.
That's okay.
I got a good beer question.
Yeah, what's up?
What is this is for Sipes mostly, because Sipes traveled a lot while he was touring with a band.
Sure.
What was your favorite beer you had internationally? Like in Europe. Let's say Europe.
Lef Ruby by far.
What is-
Lef
explain.
makes they make a blonde which you can buy here. They also have this Ruby beer, which it's just fruit infused Belgian wheat beer, but it's red. It's bright red beer, and we could get this anywhere in France and Belgium and Switzerland, but nowhere else. They wouldn't even distribute and it's just this one flavor, but it was awesome and it was really cheap. No one wanted it, so they always had it in stock. Yeah, it was Lef Ruby. It was by far.
Mine was I was in Germany and I had this beer called Hervels, and it was just like incredible.
Kind of
I
beer
think
was it?
Dude, I was 19. I don't know, but
Okay.
it was like amazing. I think I was in. Yeah, for all our German listeners,
Shalom.
I think I was in Cologne. Maybe it was dope. I don't know. It was awesome.
What were you
learned-
doing in Cologne? Wait, what?
I just backpacked, so we were just going around. Cologne has that massive cathedral, which was dope.
Yeah. This is one of those places that people, when they generally go to Germany, they don't go there.
The cathedral, dog.
Well, yeah.
It was
So you
dope.
have-
It looks like Ganon's Tower from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome.
I learned that
walk
Stella
up it.
Stella Artois is
Belgium.
essentially like the Bud Light PBR over there. They call it wife beater.
I don't know how much I agree with all that. Like, I believe all that stuff.
I
Because,
mean,
like, people say Guinness is like the Bud Light of Ireland, and I did not encounter that when I was in Ireland.
Heineken is like the Bud Light over in Europe. 'Cause
Yeah.
We had that everywhere, and it was pretty. It was good over there, but it was pretty.
Or, like,
cheap.
people say, like, Louis Vuitton in France is, like, shitty. I'm like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
but I've heard this Stella thing from a couple of different
Yeah.
spots. But apparently they find it hilarious that we treat it as like an import, like ooh,
Yeah,
fancy,
forget it.
and that's
Yeah.
their like get lit, like
well, over there, like Corona,
drink
was,
a bunch of them.
They got you go to a specialty alcohol store and you get your Corona, and all these Belgian girls were like, yeah, well, you're drinking Corona. We're like, that's piss water.
Dude,
Dope piss water,
Corona
though.
is so good.
It's delicious piss water.
I feel like
Throw a
okay,
lime in there, baby.
I love beer. I think beer is fantastic. My favorite time and place to drink beer is on a beach with a Corona
fish
with a lime that's shoved halfway into the bottle.
Twist it
And
over.
yeah, it's,
I am on board with that.
I think that is the best.
I was just
beer
on a beach
experience.
in Mexico.
Ooh, me
there was
too.
no one around. We were getting 50-cent Coronas. It was fire.
Ours were
50
like-
cent
ours were
Coronas?
like
50
$5.
cents. This dude, like this taxi driver.
Corona's good
We
for
were in.
50
I think we were
cents.
in. We were not in Mazatlan because I keep saying we were in Mazatlan. Fuck, I don't know where we were. Anyway, we got it's known to have like a lot of cartel activity in this place we were. So it was
That's my
it was
favorite.
like supposed to be shitty. Like everyone thought it was gonna be shitty where we were because we had already been to Cabo and we were going to Puerto Vallarta, which are both like pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
And then with our middle one was like
I went on a
It wasn't
cruise like
Mazatlan's
that.
the other side by Cancun, right?
No, it's on the same side.
gonna look
Because
it up.
my family went on a cruise and
sure?
it was
Am I
Cabo,
right then?
Mazatlan, and then Puerto.
Oh, maybe I'm
Yeah,
right
no,
then.
geography.
Maybe I'm right.
I was really impressed
Anyway.
with Rocky Point. I hadn't gone
Rocky
before.
Point's dope.
And
Rocky Point's pretty good.
That's why it's like Puerto Penasca or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was very delightful.
I
We got a lot
went
of stuff over there.
to
Had the little chili with the mangoes,
Oh, here
the
we go,
chili
here we go.
salt.
Wait,
Oh, really?
Oh, so good.
Mazatlan.
Mazatlan.
Is that what I've been
Mazatlan.
saying this whole time?
No,
Yeah.
you said something.
I was saying Mazatlan. I thought I was saying Cozumel because that's what I was saying. Okay, anyway.
Cozumel the island.
Yeah.
The touristy
Okay,
one.
we went to
Cozumel's
Mazatlan,
dope.
and it's supposed to be like pretty cartel involved. And we got in this taxi, and we were like, "Can you take us to this beach?" And he said, "Sure." He did not take us to the beach we asked for, and it was like a 40-minute drive, and there were 0 tourists on the entire beach, and it was like this cove with no one there, and then there was like a fish taco restaurant right next to us, and they kept selling us beer. And we were like, "This is kind of sketchy," but it was like the waves were huge, like body surfing. It was amazing,
Oh, that's cool.
like the best time ever.
Wait, who's we? Who'd you go with?
Just like family and friends.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was great. It was amazing.
You
Shout
went on
out to
cruise.
James.
Shout out to James Derrickson, my brother. Shout out
shoot.
to my mom and my dad,
Ooh.
and the other people's over there.
Colin went on a
Shouts out.
cruise.
I did. We were on a cruise at the same time.
Yeah.
Not the same cruise though.
Cruises are the suburbs of vacation.
I really like cruises.
No, they're dope.
Wait, really?
They absolutely are the.
But they're the suburbs of vacation. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the suburbs, like really convenient, pretty cheap. I don't want to live there, but it doesn't mean it's not nice.
I feel like, and this is probably really shitty and says a lot about how shitty of a person I am. But I feel like I get kind of depressed at the idea of people whose lives are like, they like build up all year to like their one cruise that they go on.
Oh, yeah,
and
fuck
then they
yeah.
just
They-
like, are like going on the next year, going on the exact same one.
They
That was
accrue. They make sure they save just enough PTO that they can do it. They have their separate little account, where they put in all their extra pocket change and stuff, so that they and the kids can
Yeah.
go to.
And I think that's
Go to
it's
Cozumel.
shitty of me probably because
well, it's cheaper. That's why.
yeah.
I enjoy cruises. I've probably been on 6 or something. We went on a stint where like every spring break for a while was like a cruise. I find them to be the ultimate.
It's the most relaxing of vacations.
There are 2 kinds of vacation people, I think. And there is vacations where I'm going to go get a bunch of shit done and do stuff. And that tends to be your like national parks and like your like
Yeah,
cities
adventurous.
with a thing, right? The adventurous versus the I need to go to San Diego. And if all we did was sit on a beach and drink beers and whatever, and that's all we did and didn't do anything, we just sat next to the ocean, great.
Yeah.
Cruises to me are the ultimate of that second one.
It, like, forces you to
I'd rather
not
do
do
an
anything.
all-inclusive resort in one place than go on a cruise.
I could take it or leave it with that. But
I don't really like the boat. Like I love the ocean, but I don't really like. I feel trapped with the people when I'm on the boat,
oh, interesting. No, see, I like
which
the,
is a personal.
I like the cruise thing.
I love being on the. I love boats and I love being on the ocean. It's not the ocean part. It's the people part.
I think
Oh.
the problem with all inclusive resorts, because I did one just before, like back
Yeah.
a few months ago or whatever,
Oh,
is that
Wow.
Mr.
um,
Moneybags.
is that you when you're on an all inclusive resort, you don't do anything outside of that resort. Like there's a
did
ton
when I
of
did
stuff to do, but it's so easy to just be like, I'm gonna go sit by the pool and have some dude bring me a beer.
But
every
that's
30
what I'm saying is the cruise doesn't make any sort of illusion that is a possibility.
right.
Like you have the excursions when you're at the actual stops, but the cruise makes no sort of like, hey, you should be going outside and exploring. You should be, like
Yeah.
you should be doing something else. On the cruise, it's like, nah, I'm here. But now it's where do I want to sit? Do I want to sit in the little casino part or up on the deck
then you
or
go to
eat
your
food
spot,
or
you go to an
whatever?
excursion.
Like your
or
only
whatever.
choices of things to do are just relax, don't do any work.
But,
Versus
but
like,
that's what I'm saying is you couldn't, even if you put me in an all-inclusive somewhere, I would be like, I'd get stir crazy. Even if I was like, I'm just going to go, I'm going to sit, I'm going to enjoy it. I would, after like a day, I'd be like out beyond the gates, like fighting the
Yeah.
cartel,
And like all inclusive shit for me is fun for like 2 days, and then I'm really full, and I don't want to anymore. So I think I would honestly rather just like rent a house in Kauai and just chill there for a week rather than go on a cruise. I mean, it's more expensive, but
But yeah, I mean, like the whole cruise. Like I've
Rent a
gone
house
on a
with friends.
cruise. Yeah, and like I've done the cruise thing, and then like in Rocky Point, like at the resort. But it's not like one of those all inclusive things. You still got to pay for stuff. But like we always, I don't know. I get stir crazy like way too. Like the resort is like a home base, and I always want to go and rove around. So like I was miserable on this cruise. My brother and I were both under 21, and so it was either go to a buffet, people watch, or watch movies in our tiny cabin. And that's
then you're like, why didn't I just stay home?
yeah, or there was a pool bar, but we weren't allowed in the pool bar past or like in certain hours when there was alcohol. So we would go in the middle of the night and play pool, and that was like our fun, and we didn't like it.
Yeah, and like I can only go to the pool like 3 days in a row, and I'm like, I don't want to go to the fucking pool again.
I think a cruise would suck if you can't drink.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like
true.
that.
Oh, I
makes it
agree.
so much more enjoyable.
I don't know. I definitely like the more like grungy vacation of like go and travel as opposed to like go. If I'm relaxing, I'd rather just like find one beach,
Rent a
and
cabin somewhere.
rent a house or a
Yeah.
condo or something, and just chill.
A cruise to me at this point falls into that, like, if 20 people I knew and enjoyed were like, hey, we're gonna go do it, it'll be like $400 or $500 and we're gonna go hang out for a week or something, and you're like, okay, great.
Oh, I would go with a bunch
Totally.
of friends.
But
That's
that-
That's why I did this one, because my parents were going on it, and they got me drunk at brunch, and I was like, "Fucking book it, mom."
But like
Let's do it.
none of my like on my roster vacations are like that at all. You know, my current one's like,
Tokyo.
I mean, that's a cool one, but you know, like one of my current ones is like, I need to get a different motorcycle and then go meet my friend out in San Diego who lives out there, and then we want to go adventure motorcycling around and go camping. You know, like that to me is like I want to take a week and go do that. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
We should do a friend cruise and film episodes of the podcast on the cruise.
We should go camping while no one's working.
should do that.
Ooh, I'm not working. I don't have a job.
No one has a job.
Dear
We should go
God, please,
camping.
somebody pay me. Squarespace, dear God, please.
hey,
Please let
Give
us
us money.
sponsor.
We're
us.
all
sponsor.
demonetized.
I mean,
at the
I want to
moment.
go camping, and I technically have a car that I can sleep in now.
RT.
I don't have a life, so
Yeah, we should go camping while we all can. And it's hot here, so let's go.
Or
Do they know where we live?
what,
Do our listeners know where we
Yeah,
live?
we
I
should,
figure
because
so.
we
Yeah,
talk about
we're in
Tempe and
Phoenix.
Scottsdale.
Yeah, we're
all
in
the time.
Phoenix.
there's
Yeah.
an entire episode.
We live in Central Phoenix. Nick's address is.
You don't know Nick's address.
No, I don't.
I'll give you the one hint. It's around Camp Social, so if you can find it, Godspeed
Oh,
for now, for the next month.
You Godspeed.
we should do not a booze cruise, a booze train ride. The train. I've done that with a couple of friends. You get on the train,
love
you
trains.
order bottomless mimosas, you get on the open air cart, or you get your friends to eat edibles. And
fuck
then
no. Have you seen Murder
I
on the
get a
Orient
little-
Express?
I don't really
No
like
way.
edibles. Edibles,
train-
you're
but-
high for too long. I don't smoke weed. I don't take weed.
Mom?
Mom? No, my mom knows.
but trains for
Edible,
real.
I'm high for too long.
I get that.
The trains are surprisingly expensive.
I love trains.
Not the Verde Valley one though. That's like the one that's really.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm
Really
talking
into
about. I'm
trains.
talking about like the Trans America,
Oh, those are
Like-
expensive.
Yeah,
like
L.A. to
Amtrak.
Chicago on like an Amtrak.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the Grand
Amtrak.
Amtrak.
Yeah.
You seen Thomas
Wait, okay.
the Tank
Here's
Engine?
where I've
My
ridden
favorite.
trains in. This is a fun little segment. I've ridden trains. We're gonna say subways count. I've ridden trains in New York, Boston,
Ooh.
ooh, Chicago.
Oh.
Wait, are we talking about
Are these
like
all light rail
trains, or are we
systems?
talking
And
about
subways.
like okay?
I've ridden on the Amtrak from L.A. to Carpinteria and
Phoenix.
and from
Phoenix Light Rail.
I've never been on the Phoenix Light Rail.
What?
I
And
have
I've
with
been
Cody
from San
Carlson.
Clemente to Carpinteria. I've been on Swiss trains, Italian trains, Austrian
What's
trains.
the San Francisco one called?
Bart.
Bart. You've been on
Ever
the
go on
Bart?
Bart?
It's really
I've been on
dirty.
BART. I've been on BART. Fire. I love trains. I got the Swiss rail pass when I was in Switzerland.
Ooh.
Dude, the
And
European
fire.
trains, like they know their shit.
If you buy the
Here-
pass, it's awesome
Well, yeah,
because you can get anywhere and they run so often.
they take a long time
It's-
though. I have a bunch of
Oh
friends
no,
that
we were
try
on
to
for
like,
like 9 hours once.
yeah. They're like,
It
oh,
was
we're gonna
awesome.
backpack through. We're just gonna take trains. It's
But
like,
you sleep on it.
but yeah, but if like it can take
Can
up
you
an
save
entire
money?
day.
No, you do it at night. That's like the backpacker move because you want to spend as little money as possible. I went through. I backpacked for like
Oh,
over
yeah.
6 weeks for like $2,000, $2,500 including flights, and the flight was like $1,000.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
And when we were living pretty well, but like you like get on the train you do either cheap hostels or you get on the train at like 9 at night.
And then
and
you
then
have a
you
cushy-
wake
you have a
up.
cushy
yeah,
seat.
you
And there's
sit
usually
in
no
your
one
seat,
on the train
and you wake up
at
in the next
that.
spot.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's the move.
That's why I like cruises.
And you buy the train pass, and,
Yeah.
and you buy the train pass before you
Sleep in
get
here
there.
now.
Y'all
That's-
want to
that's
fly to
important.
Prague and then just take trains everywhere, guys?
Bitch, you can't even
recommend
spell
it,
Prague.
Like, anyone try, like me and James just went to Iceland, and you do like literally no itinerary and just figure it out. We had a hostel the first
Yeah.
night, and that's all we had.
Well, one of the things I wanted to do is just like Adrian and I were talking about it for a little while. Is just like pick a handful of cities we want to go to, and then check Scott's cheap flights or whatever, and then just find a flight to one of those cities, and then figure it out from there, and just
Yeah.
try to hit some things.
I
Yeah,
like,
for
I like
sure.
the road trip.
I like
Road
road
trip
trips a
would be
lot. I'm a big fan.
I like
Mostly
fl-
because of music.
I like flights for like utility purposes and stuff. You know, like right now it's like I'm trying to go home I'm trying to go back to Minnesota for like the 4th of July. And it's like 2 days across like the worst part
Yeah,
of
yeah.
driving
Yeah,
in the
it sucks.
country. Like,
Too far.
and then 2 days back. And it's like, no, I'll take like the $250 flight and like be done, you know? But like,
Yeah.
like whenever people talk about like, oh, like I have a whole bunch of time and I'm like flying to Portland, I'm like, that to me would be a shoot over to the coast and like
Drive up.
work your way up. Like it's a great
That's
drive.
PCH.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna say the PCH. One of the things I want to do is like get some friends together, rent some cars, and do the PCH. I don't have a nice car to drive.
Never
so-
done it. I took the Miata out there.
Yeah?
I did canyons in the Miata for a whole spring break my freshman year.
I want to start in LA
Worth
and
it?
go to Alaska.
Why?
Because it'd be dope. You camp up.
I want to do
It'd take like a
Alaska.
month. It'd be awesome.
I'm trying to do Alaska to the Darien Gap on a motorcycle.
What's Darien Gap?
Darien Gap is
It's a gap.
it's like the southernest you can go without having to like ferry across
Oh, in Argentina? Oh, in
like
Panama.
swampland. No. Here, I'll pull it up on Google Maps.
Do you have to go across the Panama Canal?
Yeah, but that's like
Yeah, you can do that.
that's a thing.
No, that was I had a Dodge Durango in high school, and me and my friends we had like two things. Me and my friend Tyson wanted to live in my Dodge Durango on Venice Beach the summer after high school.
No.
We were gonna grow out our hair. We were gonna grow out our hair the
No.
entire senior year,
No.
and then we were gonna do that. We thought it would be so funny. And then we were gonna be homeless for a year. And then our other thing was like once it was broken down completely, me and all my friends wanted to drive it down to the southernmost part we could get to in Argentina, or as far as we could go, and leave it and fly home.
That's pretty cool. But
And we
like,
always thought we'd leave like pretty clean cut, and we'd come back with like full beards. Well, I can't grow a beard, but full beards and hair, and like only a poncho.
So this
no,
is-
like,
So this is
clothes
technically the short trip. You end up in the Darien Gap.
whoa.
anymore. That is Panama.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like just past the canal.
A lot of
You
words.
can keep going, mate.
No, right, you can. So this is like
Yeah.
the short
My uncle drove
motorcyclist
to Costa
trip.
Rica from Phoenix.
Right, or you do the one where it's like freaking the Cape, you know, or like the very bottom. I don't know where my cursor
Mexico is honestly probably the sketchiest part, like Central Mexico.
is. Yeah.
There we go.
It's racist.
But
No, it's not. You're racist for thinking it's racist.
apparently Argentina, or like right through here, is like pretty brutal. Like the roads are essentially non-existent. And you're trying to
Yeah, and then you get to like Patagonia,
and you're trying
like,
to
oh,
put
shit.
you're trying to put your motorcycle on like canoe-ish looking things to like cross like all these little rivers and stuff, and like
Yeah.
I don't know. But the Darien Gap, I
It's like
think
that
it
Top
takes
Gear
you
special.
I think it takes you like 4 weeks to kind of get through all of that. It like takes you a pretty good chunk of time, but yeah.
It's a lot of stopping.
So
There's these
you
dudes
do,
who rode-
So do Alaska, do Anchorage to the Darien Gap.
There's these dudes who road biked from Alaska, and they wanted to get to the southernmost part of South America, and they got mugged in Mexico.
I bet.
Like
It
they
was
got
just
like
done.
they
Just
got
tripped
like,
on right
One
there.
of them said, "I'm done." The other one kept going for like 3 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think he might still be doing it.
I know a couple of people
He's
who are
road biking
bicycling.
around. I don't know, because it's just like people can't find meaning in life, so they're like,
Yeah.
"This is what I want to do." I mean,
The
I can relate to
bicycling
that.
subreddit's full
It's hard
of
to find
people
meaning
that
in
just,
life.
they just do full rides. They're like San Francisco to New York. We're doing it. and
I've
then
always
they do
wanted,
it.
yeah, I've always wanted to long-term travel, but I could never do it alone. I don't think.
well,
I'd
but
be
you
so
also need,
lonely.
like-
That's how I feel. It's always the timing on it. Like right now, I would do a whole lot more motorcycle rides and trips and stuff. But like, I don't know anyone who rides as
Yeah.
much as I do, or is like into it as much as I am. You know, it's like even like you try to talk to Donnelly or someone like, "Yo, Donnelly, I'm going to like Flag via Sedona," and it's like, it's pretty far, and you're like, I guess. And it's like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks though. You know,
He's
it's
gonna
like,
watch this now.
yeah,
He's
right.
gonna hate you.
He
Yeah.
hates you.
He hates you. Trees hate you.
You're done in this industry. You hear me?
The fucking bicycling
How did we
people.
even
Though.
get on this subject?
This is how it goes. This is just how the podcast works.
That's what Riker
Yeah.
said. You guys
Yeah,
just, like,
trying to
talk.
figure out
I'm
the, like-
Riker's roommate, BT Dubs. Did you already say
Yeah,
that?
we
talked about it at the
Okay.
beginning.
Okay, all right.
Little baby, right? We grew up together.
Oh,
So I have something.
and you're gonna die together.
I have something completely off topic that I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
what's
we
good?
should talk about now or if we should wait till the next episode. We film these back to back, by the way.
Yeah, what's up?
They figured
So
that out.
I don't know. Are we still
change
talking about
shirts.
travel? Or are we still talking about?
Dude,
We can talk about whatever.
We can talk about whatever, Mike.
Okay.
We can talk about you, Colin.
This is ours, dude.
Oh.
Talk about how pretty you are.
Ooh, what you want to say about me?
Ooh, boy. Ooh.
So
Colin's
okay.
brother's famous. Okay.
Oh shit.
Oh shit! OBS just failed on me. Whoa.
Are we done?
Uh-oh.
We have
we're
no
not
video
done.
right now.
Are we fucked?
We should, for this part, we're going to do a video of me.
If dude,
Is
A
it all
picture,
gone?
a picture of me waving my hands back and forth.
Is everything
It's gonna be, like,
gone?
animated.
If it
I'll
didn't-
animate it.
oh,
Is
if
this
it's-
an audio
me
only
doing this.
podcast?
No,
as
we'll
of
just
now?
we'll put it up. We'll just take a screen grab of that,
Okay.
and it'll be the first, whatever.
I'm going to animate it.
I say we just put a video of Patrick playing Fortnite, and
we'll talk over it.
We'll talk over it.
Wow.
It'll just be him
Dying
talking
in
about like
Fortnite.
former.
all right, so we've had our
relationships.
first OBS complete failure.
It's
It did
gone?
not save that file.
No.
We have no video.
No.
We have no video. It's
That's okay.
But our
He's
audio's working.
Still
That's what
got a
matters.
better track record.
Me and
than
Riker once did a podcast,
Yep.
and our video failed 2 podcasts in a row. We did
Really?
4 total, and 2 of them had no video.
How
You
how
just do a
what are we
screen
looking
grab.
at time wise on the?
It's an hour and 5 minutes, but I started recording a few minutes beforehand because
Patrick had a
that's what I do.
We'll
podcast.
just do a screen grab, right?
What did you
Yeah,
wanna
just do
talk
it
about?
still.
Patrick has a podcast called Let's Talk About Stuff. Is that
Really?
what it's called?
Sure.
No, that's not what I was going to talk about.
I'm just going to delete it off YouTube.
No, you can't. It's too
Me and
good.
Riker did like this crappy podcast our freshman year of college because we thought it was funny.
That's a good reason to do it. Though.
We had one in high school where we just talked crap about other people we went to high school with.
We had like
Without names,
That's
but it
cool.
was only 30 people in our
ours was called
class.
Let's Talk About Crap, and we'd improv a theme song every time. And then we had like a hat full of topics, and Riker would pick it.
You'd suck.
And we had the Playboy bartender. I mean, it's the same thing as this one. We had the
Basically.
Playboy bartender's drink of the week because I have a Playboy bartender's book.
Huh?
Like a Zia.
No, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Should I talk about it now, or should I talk about it when we have video? Is that the end of our podcast, or
What are you trying to talk about?
I want to talk? Okay, all right.
What are you trying
Should
to
we
talk
ta-
about?
So, okay, here's one of my biggest pet peeves in life in general.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is let's say there's a big old hyped movie coming out. We'll use the Avengers as an example.
No, it's not Age
Not
of Ultron.
Oh, yeah.
Infinity War.
Okay.
So my biggest pet peeve is when a movie came out like 2 weeks ago, and you're in a room and you're like,
Spoiler
"Oh, you see Infinity, you see Infinity War," and you hear in the back just some random person be like, "Don't talk about that. I haven't seen it yet." And you're like, "It came out fucking forever ago. Like when is it okay to talk about a movie?
When it's
Like-
out of theaters.
That's when it's okay to talk about a movie.
Yeah.
But who wants to fucking talk about it then?
No, do people talk about like, I don't know.
No, but when it's
That's when you don't have to worry about spoilers.
when it's out of theaters is. Well, I mean, definitely at that point,
That's
if someone's like,
definitely-
"Don't spoil it," you're like, "Get with the fucking times,
You're
dude."
waiting for the DVD.
Watch the movie.
So what's-
it's
Now,
not
now,
spoiled.
some people, it's literally like it came out on Thursday, and you were waiting to see it until Monday, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, why didn't you see it in the first 2 days it was out?" And you're like, "Well, okay, some of us are busy, my guy."
I think it's
you know?
fine, but like, at what is the time period? Like, what is a grace period where it's like you shouldn't talk about that movie because people may have not had the chance to go see it yet? And when is the time where it's like, shut the fuck up? This movie has been out for a really long time. Like you can't. It wasn't particular with that movie, but
Are you talking about Solo?
no.
Did that
Okay,
with Solo?
no. It was.
Why you have to be mad?
This is old. It's actually kind of an older movie
so
now.
mad.
It
My
was
name's
Colin.
The Force Awakens when it came out, and it had been out for like 2 weeks.
You mean Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, the movie?
Yeah,
Kyle Katarn.
exactly.
Nope.
That's Old Republic. No, that's Knights of the Old Republic.
No.
Yeah.
Kyle Katarn?
Kyle Katarn is Knights of the Old Republic.
That's Jedi Outcast.
and Knights of the Old
and
Republic
Jedi-
and Jedi Academy.
And Knights of the Old Republic is set like 1,000 years before all that.
Is that? No, that's just Star Wars: The Old Republic, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic's the game. The Old Republic was
The Old Republic was the
It
online
was
one that came
SWTOR.
after Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2,
It was
which were
just Star
set.
Wars: The Old Republic.
You're wrong.
I'm pretty sure.
No, you're thinking
called it
you're thinking of
SWTOR.
Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy.
What the fuck are
We're
we
talking
You're
all-
right. You're right. But they call it the MMO was SWTOR.
Yeah, but that was set in the Old Republic.
I know that.
Kyle Katarn had nothing to do with that.
What was Knights of the Old Republic? That was a different
Knights of the
thing.
Old Republic was Revan was Revan that had gotten brainwashed, and then
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
you're
big
right, you're
reveal
right.
in that game. Is they're like, you're Revan, and you're like, oh shit.
But that wasn't the MMO.
No.
Okay, that's
That
that's
was,
all I'm
that
saying.
was single player.
Okay,
Then there was
that's all I'm
Knights of
saying.
the Old. Then
I'm
there
on
was
board. You don't have to explain it
KOTOR
anymore.
2,
I'm on board.
and then everyone wanted KOTOR
on board.
3, and it was the MMO, and everyone's
good.
like, eh.
Kyle Katarn was in Jedi Academy.
Which I've been playing
And you
through.
can build your own. Get Jedi.
build your own Qatar?
Kyle Katarn.
How Qatar? Sorry.
You fucking dork.
I did not play these games.
So
fucking dork.
you fucking loser.
Knights of the
Look
Old
at you.
Republic.
No one is disagreeing.
No. I just I'm nostalgic because it's one of the best games of all time.
Graphics.
Pat needs to drink more of this nutty brown beer.
Dude, I'm drinking Bud Light.
Dude, pour me a
I
little
drank
bit.
it. Oh,
pour
I
a
thought you
little-
said Pat.
This game is
said
so
Colin?
freaking good.
Oh, both of you actually.
No, I'm drinking Bud Light.
Now that you mentioned Colin.
Oh, you forgetting about me over here, little boy?
No, I'm
So
just,
yeah, so The Force Awakens is this game storyline
Yeah.
that they completely ripped off.
What do you guys think about Solo?
I thought it was
we
pretty
can't
good.
talk about that movie. It didn't come out long.
Oh yeah, because it's
not out of
within, it's within the like year grace period that Colin is proposing.
No, I was not proposing a year
I'm
grace
just-
period.
just kidding,
Patrick
shit.
said out of theaters. I think fucking like a week is fine. 2 weeks.
I like Solo.
You can say
Solo-
spoiler.
Solo
we're talking
apparently
about
it's getting
Solo now.
terrible reviews.
Really?
I thought it was great.
I thought it was fantastic.
It bombed.
I thought it was like
it box office.
yeah, first weekend.
bombed.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
so
like
did,
no one wins.
So
the
did,
last one was really shitty.
But
This
it's only
one's
been
good.
6 months.
well, so did the new Blade Runner. That
Solo
bombed
was
in the
my
box
favorite
office,
of
but
any
it was
of the new
great.
ones. Any of the
haven't
new
seen
four.
it,
It was my
so-
favorite.
It was great.
It was really good. He was a really good Han. Donald was like a crazy good Lando.
It wasn't a
okay,
predictable
Amelia
story.
Clark, I want to bang the whole time.
So one of my
She's
one
so
of
hot.
my
I love her
biggest
so much.
problems with it
With
is
all my heart.
I know it was a Star
Daenerys
Wars
Targaryen,
movie,
Stormborn, the Unburnt, Mother
but
of
I,
Dragons.
You're gonna get muted.
but I still don't think of it as him being Han Solo for some reason.
No, see, I feel the opposite. There were times
Really?
where I like forgot that it was not young Harrison Ford.
No, I mean I think he looks just like him.
I bought it.
But
completely.
for
I
some
liked it.
reason, I was just like disconnected from him being Han Solo.
My
I got used
Can
to
I,
it
can I
pretty
do a
quick.
PSA real quick?
sure.
sure.
Amelia Clark, I am sorry. I said I wanted to bang you. I think I respect you as a woman.
Amelia
Respect
Clark, I
this
want to
person.
bang you.
Let's put here. Let's say spoiler cast. So you've got
No,
You-
we're not
you
doing
should-
any spoilers
I
for
don't
the,
have a sound.
as for the conversation.
No,
it's been
but-
out.
no,
it's
but-
out of theaters.
No, but we're warning them.
Wait, which movie?
No
Wait,
warning.
This fucking movie?
So- no,
We're
Solo.
doing a spoiler warning?
No,
for-
Solo,
Oh, okay,
Solo.
alright.
No warning.
Hey, so if you're trying not to get spoiled and you haven't seen Solo yet,
Too late.
just skip ahead a while. Skip ahead a bit.
Skip it. Skip ahead to the time that you see stamped at the bottom of this video, but it's not a video
No,
podcast.
Probably honestly for the
anymore.
rest of the episode.
Yeah, just don't listen to the rest of the
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
go away.
you.
Fuck
Go
you.
Go away.
Fuck you.
Fucking figure out something to do
Hey,
with your life, you piece
I
of
don't
shit.
care about spoilers. Like Riker told me everyone dies in Avengers. Fuck you. I don't care if it's
I-
Holy
spoilers.
I
shit,
haven't
Riker
seen-
told me
That
that.
movie's
haven't
still in
seen
theaters.
Sorry. No, it's
I
not.
don't care. Yeah.
But like Riker
don't
told me
care
that the
about
day
it. I'm
before
like,
I saw it, and I was like, yeah, just tell me. I don't care.
Actually, they did.
Why does anyone
a-
care?
They did.
Are you
a
really that emotionally
study-
connected with this movie?
They did a study, and people are actually more and
Anticipating?
yes, a film after it's been spoiled for them. True fact.
I like.
Google it.
I just don't care.
I agree with that because I don't mind spoilers because I usually they kind of wipe out of my brain when I get into the theater anyway. But that like happens all the time. Like I completely
Because then
forget
you're
shit.
waiting for it.
Yeah,
whole
it's the
time.
same reason like whenever
The
people,
Red Wedding, everyone got that
Yeah,
spoiled.
whenever people were reading Game of Thrones and then they were watching it, they were like, "Oh shit, here comes the Red Wedding! All these people I'm in this room with don't know what's gonna
Or
happen."
Dumbledore dies. Spoiler.
Hey,
Dumbledore
I
dies.
haven't
I
seen.
read that book. I haven't seen Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
I
read that book 2 days, like within the 2 days it came out.
I maybe could still mind spoilers, but I do like the it was good or it was bad, you know? Like if people are like, it was a great
yeah.
movie, you should go see it. Like cuz then depending on the people you kind of like piece together this like well, these people who I don't really trust are saying it was good, but then some are saying it's bad. Ooh, what is it? So like I could see that like anticipation of you're like, "Oh, interesting. Like there's some mix up in it. Where am I going to fall?"
Yeah.
There's
So if there's any
Because
deviation,
I knew how
then
good
it's like,
I knew how good the new Blade Runner was going to be based on how bad some people I know on Facebook said it was.
I thought it was fucking boring. Like
really?
it was really well done. Good
Guys.
story, really good performances. Way too fucking long.
I haven't seen it
It was
yet,
like 3
so-
hours.
Now, did you
Well,
watch
I've seen it. I've
OG
seen it.
Blade Runner?
Yeah, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I thought it was too long.
Let's not talk about it.
wait,
Okay.
the original one?
They're too long.
I haven't
Not
seen the
as
original
too long.
yet.
They're
so-
too long.
Too long.
Okay,
I
I
have,
get
I
like not liking a movie
I
being
don't
that
dislike
long.
it. I thought it was too long.
Okay. So like I like
I
long
don't
movies
want
like
to
that.
watch it again.
Okay, I get that.
Sorry.
But like movies I like, I don't mind them being super long. If I don't like it, then I definitely like there's a point where I'm like, okay, this is way too fucking long. But if I
Yeah.
like everything that's going on, it starts to just kind of transcend.
I think the perfect example of a long movie that is totally okay to be too long is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not bored at all.
No, it's like
You're
if you
engaged.
watch
If
The
you're engaged,
Fellowship
it's
of the
fine.
Ring,
Whoa.
I don't imagine that it's whoa. Fucking there we are.
Dude, I wanna slick back my hair with my.
How do I should I like DJ like this?
Is this pretty cool?
Just
Wait,
be
show
my-
it to me. Show it
That
to me.
reminded me that I'm
Show
not
it to
wearing
me
my
good.
glasses.
Oh
that's
yeah.
cool.
Oh hell yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. I'm into that. I'm into
Colin, you should do your hair thing like one more time for me.
Oh like this?
No, with your hand. Like
Oh,
you used to
oh.
do at work all the time that people
Oh,
give
yeah?
you shit about. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you like that?
Yep.
Fucking
God,
so
I'm so happy to not see so many of those people ever again.
dude. So
Hit it, Nick.
yeah.
Uh,
What is this?
This is the outro music.
It's the outro music? Are we
Demonetized
done?
podcast with timing that'll outlast. We're drinking beer on camera and talking about that art shit.
That was pretty good.
You know,
That was pretty good.
I have
Go
to
Stripes.
get like obliterated.
I don't rap.
Then me and Pat
never
have
rap.
rap battles.
we have rap battles, dude.
All right, goodbye everyone.
Yeah, we.
Oh, is it the end
I
of
don't
this?
know.
That was it.
Well, let's take. I think this is a good point.
Yeah, so thank you for listening. Sorry the video's destroyed on this one, but the audio should sound way better on this one.
Fuck OBS.
So yeah, fuck OBS. Actually,
fuck
it's been
spoilers.
pretty good so far.
That's okay. We're doing this for us. That's perfectly okay.
yeah, we don't mind.
So I guess should I get the outro? Should I get the outro music? going?
Oh, yeah, do
This
your
is the
thing.
outro
Yeah.
of the
Oh.
podcast. I don't know
Oh,
what the
wait.
name of this podcast is.
Demonetized.
Demonetized.
That's the name?
That's the name.
I thought that was like the fake name.
I mean,
Nope.
that was the fake name, and then it became the real name.
It should be called a Cool Guy Podcast.
cool.
The Low
Welcome
Income Podcast.
Ooh.
All right, and with that, end of episode 6.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, everybody. I'm Nick. Find me on the internet. We got Sipes. And Colin Fleming. Thanks for being here. And special guest, Freestyle Patrick. Thanks, guys. See you later.